logging story for you guys. I was working on a 124 Medill swing yarder, dragon wagon. This thing was, oh man, it was nice, and it would pull. Anyways, it was nice wood, really nice wood. We were logging for Seneca, a lot of 52s and 56 footers. And everything was laid side hill and pretty well locked in. It was fairly steep, not too horribly bad, but you know, West Coast logging. And we'd been running out this same walk log. And what I mean by a walk log is, I described it a little bit ago in my Reaganese, but I'll do it again. Is a log you use to get out to where you're going to set your chokers or your presets, because it's on top of the brush. And there will be times where you will pull an extra 50, 60, 100 feet just to use that walk log, because you may not have another one, and it's, you know, the ground's covered with limbs and brush or whatnot. And some jobs just have walk logs, you know, just one right after another. But anyways, so we'd been pulling out this walk log for quite a while, and we was getting down to the last few turns on it. And went out, we grabbed I popped the chokers off, threw them to the choker setter. I went to the other side, hooked my turn up, was going ahead on it. I boogied back across the lines, got on my walk log, and there was three of us. And the third guy had set his choker and got up on the walk log just about the time I did, and out the log we went. Well, when he jumped off of it, when you're working on really steep ground, you got to learn how to jump without pushing. I know it sounds funny, but if you're ever standing on something tippy and you got to get off of it, you get off without pushing on it. Anyways, he started to lose his balance, and he was a bigger guy, and so he jumped, and when he jumped, he pushed, and the log started to roll. Well, I jumped, and it kind of threw me off balance and got me downhill from it, and I'm running just as hard as I can run. And this thing, it's a 56 footer, and I know I'm not going to make it. It's going to get me. And there's a little brushy spot coming, so I jumped to try to get in this gully so it'll go over me. And I don't know exactly how it happened, but I got my feet out in front of me. So I landed on my butt with my feet out in front of me, and when I fell, my hard hat landed like this. So the log comes over my back, and I heard every bone in my back, my ribs, I heard them all break. Just pop, 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 crap, pop, pop, pop. Anyway, so as this log's going over me, it's smashing me down, and I was wearing a metal hard hat then. It actually pushed on me so hard that I smashed that hard hat in between my thigh and my ribs. Log rolls over, lands on my feet. I set right up immediately. And I can't breathe. I'm going like that. Scared to death. I just know that every bone in my back is broke. So anyways, they're doing their first initial assessment, you know, make sure there's no bones sticking out or nothing. By this time the crew gets down there, I can't breathe. It hurt. Oh man, it hurt so bad. So they get me in a basket. Good thing we're only 400 or 500 feet off the landing. Up we go. And I keep reaching at my buddies on our work pants. We got these side pockets, and I keep reaching at his pocket, grabbing it. And up the hill we go. When we get to the hill, we get to the landing, and I grab him, and I'm pulling him over to me, and everybody's like, what the heck does he want? And my buddy's like, he wants a cigarette. He wants a cigarette. And no, don't let him have a cigarette. Don't let him have a cigarette. And I'm making all kinds of hand gestures and whatnot. And my choker setter, who's my best friend, he says, he goes, no, he knows that he's going to be in the hospital for a few days because he's messed up and he wants to have a cigarette before he goes. So I'm like, so they give me a cigarette. Now, mind you, I can't breathe. I just had a log roll over me, and I'm trying to suck down this cigarette. And so I smoked my cigarette. By this time, they've called the ambulance and whatnot. and they made the decision that because of where we were at, they were going to have to put me in an ambulance anyways to get me to a helicopter. Well, where the closest spot a helicopter could park safely, it would have taken more time than it would be for them just to run me to town. So the first 3 or 4 EMTs that show up are volunteer EMTs. And so we're waiting for the ambulance to get there, and these EMTs are taking care of me, and I'm trying to get my buddy's attention. I want another cigarette, and they're like, absolutely not. And so as soon as they would start doing something else, my buddy lit a cigarette, and he'd come over, he'd stand by me and give it to me, and then they'd get all upset. Well, one of the EMTs, the volunteers that first got there, firefighter, whatever you want to call it, turned out his wife ran a little daycare center, and my oldest son went to school there. So I knew him, and so he was telling me, you know, it's going to be all right. We're going to get you out of here. By this time, all the adrenaline has wore off, and shock has set in, and I'm in serious pain. And I'm 100% sure that my back's broke, my neck's broke, I can't breathe, you know, so I'm starting to panic or whatnot. So they get the ambulance there, and they get me in the ambulance, and down the road they go, and there's the guy driving, and then a passenger, and then 2 guys in the back working with me. And they're calling off numbers and codes and what, I have no idea. And I'm breathing better, but you know, it hurts so much to breathe. Well, all of a sudden I get this terrible pain. It doubles me up. Now I can't breathe at all. And at this point in the ambulance, we're just, you know, doing the speed limit, no lights, siren or nothing. And this guy calls off a code, and all of a sudden the lights and siren come on, and he starts kicking right down the road. And they're ripping packages open and whatnot. And I can breathe enough, but, you know, at this point, I'm pretty sure I'm dying. Well, I ended up having a lung collapse, and it was on this side. And, you know, like I say, I'm panicking. I don't know what's going on. So they're ripping these packages open and stuff. And so the friend, or the guy that his wife babysit for us, he's in there, and he's got this long metal bar thing that's hollow, and he's opening it up. And you know, they wear them shirts, got them little loop things like right here. I reach up and I grab a hold of him, and I suck him down right here to me. And he's like, what do you need, what do you need, what do you need? And I take the biggest breath as I can, and I look up at him. And at this point, I just had the 3 boys. And I said, whatever happens here today, buddy, you make sure that my boys know I love them. And this guy stands up and he goes, you're going home. Oh, and he shoves this thing in my side, and now I can breathe. And I'm like, oh. So now, you know, the panic is coming down because I can breathe, but I'm still in horrible pain. So we get to the hospital, and the guy I worked with had already called my wife. So my wife and my sister and my mom was there. And they do all kinds of x-rays and a CAT scan and all this stuff. No broken bones. Not a broken bone one, no fractures. The only thing it did is when I smashed that hard hat between my ribs and my thigh, it bruised my thigh horribly. And it took all the tendons and the meat and stuff and peeled it off of my ribs. And so I still, to this day, I got a ball right here. The doctor says, well, we can't find anything wrong with you other than your ribs, you know, so here's some pain pills and go home. So we get out in the front room, you know, and you know, you see on TV, they always give you a ride out on the wheelchair. I'm here to tell you they don't always do that. So I'm walking out in the waiting room of the ER with my wife and my sister, and I'm horribly sick to my stomach. I'm in terrible pain. And my mom, well, we'll go into that about my mom later. anyways, my wife and my sister, they're like, I can't believe they're sending him home, you know. And my sister's like, just wait here. I'm going over here to talk to somebody. So she goes over to talk to somebody. Well, just about that time, everything turns white. And when I come to, I'm in a hospital bed. I end up staying the night. I guess it was just the pain. I passed out from the pain. And so after a few days, they sent me home. And oh my God, if you've ever broke or bruised your ribs, you know what I'm talking about. You can't do nothing. You can't sit up. You can't lay down. You don't cough. You don't do nothing. For like 8 weeks, I couldn't do nothing. So I got all healed up for that. They put me on light duty. I went back to work. I was still pretty sore. I was just working around the landing. Well, they wanted some haywire pulled down the hill quite a ways away from the yarder. So they're like, you know, just let Alex do it and he can take his time and stuff. Man, I tell you what should have taken me probably a half hour max to do, it was like 3 hours, because every log I was kicking it, pushing on it, and if it moved at all, even if I knew there were stumps in front of it, there was no way it was going to roll, I would pull a bunch of haywire slack and I'd throw it way down the hill and I'd walk around that log and around this one. And it took me probably 3 months after I got healed up and was back out on the rigging full time before, you know, every little noise I was just scared. That's scary. I was 100% sure I was losing my life that day. So that's one of my logging stories. Like I say, I've got 3 or 4 bad injury stories, and then I got so many ha-ha funnies that we could write a book about it. We'll get to them one by one. So stay safe, get logs.